Hello, my friends. This is Elizabeth Wood, and this is New Earth Conversations. And I get to speak with my friend, Dr. Carolle Murat. Again,
You're getting better.
I'm getting better. And Dr. Carolle is this incredibly generous soul. Immediately after our last interview, she said, "We have to do another one because we must talk about grief. We must talk about grief." And so she's working on a book right now and she wants to talk to us about grief. And I'm so glad this topic came up because it's huge, it's big. You and I
Yes.
have been seeing this happening for people, especially in the past 6 months, really coming to the fore. So, Dr. Carolle, thank you so much for joining us. And jump in. Let's talk about grief. What would you like to share about grief right now?
When I called you and said, let's do this book, that was, let's do this show because that was months ago. And it was a book about grief of losing a loved one. It's called Heal Your Life, How to Overcome the Loss, how to Quickly Overcome the Loss of a Loved One. But then I realized now, it's not only about grief. So we'll talk about this kind of grief when you lose somebody. But now, after how many months now? Oh my God, 5 months into this, people are grieving the loss of life the way we knew it. Exactly.
Life the way we knew it. And the way we knew it was kind of, it felt more free, right? It felt
Yes.
more, it felt more creative, perhaps,
Okay.
more resources to do things. And then the shift was now this fear of getting sick, the fear of dying showing up, and
Yes.
then the isolation. And then there's this strange thing that happens to everyone when they keep being told by the media nothing's going to go back to normal, and they come up with this idea called the new normal,
Okay.
and everyone's trying to figure out what that is.
You know.
What is the new normal? What does that even mean? What did we lose? And so what are you seeing? What did we lose? And
Um, I was told I'm living beautiful San Diego, and I was supposed to be in quarantine because I'm over 65. So I didn't go out for 2 months. I have people bring me everything. I'm very loved, well loved. So everything was brought to me. And for the first time, I decided to go to the post office. The first thing that I noticed, wearing a mask. I have people always compliment me for my smile. And there is something when especially I meet somebody, I'm always smiling and they always smile. And I'm realizing, oh my God, we've lost that smile. And I realized the funny things that happened came to my head. We don't need to go to dentist anymore because nobody's going to see our teeth. We can just go. And then, but then here I was at the line at the post office. It was a long line because the people are waiting outside. And I had a temper tantrum to make people laugh. And I went, I want to see a smile. I want to see some teeth. And then people were just bursting laughing. And little things like that. And then now, especially if the person has glasses and you're crossing the path, you don't know. We used to, as human beings, we see our reflection in others. And in me, being a woman and black and tall and beautiful and having a light, people always see the reflection of their soul in me. And I'm realizing we're just like robots passing through. I go to, finally, after 4 months, there is a park. It's called Choyas Lake, where it's packed dirt around the lake, and we just walk around, and some people are going this way, put it that way. And then so I realized you don't know who the people are anymore. That's what we, and then, but then, so since I've been doing this for over 20 years, so some people I knew, and they would say, hi, where have you been? And then so, and it's just like we've lost, to me, that I always connect with the people's soul to their eyes and to their smile. I find out it's a new readjustment for me. And then also, what I see, we're going to have another pandemic pretty soon. It's a mental pandemic. It's a mental pandemic. And follow that is going to be uh, uh, the body, the way the body is going to react. The way I deal with medicine was with my patients, that now with the resident. I'm an intuitive mentor for my resident at school, at the UCSD School of Medicine. I don't. And now, if we talk on the phone. We talk on the phone, and then we're losing that connection that I was teaching them, how to be the best with your patients, how to be connected. So when as a doctor, how do you create that? So it's not only it's happening to everybody. It's happening to the doctors, how to connect. It's happening to family together. How do we connect? Now we're losing that box. How do we do it? So before that, the people will come. 80% of the people who were sick is because they were in isolation. Isolation and stress was the mother of all the diseases, except when somebody break your leg, you have a physical thing. But 80% of the diseases that I had to deal with and teaching my residents what to do have to do with the emotional part, the spiritual and the mental. And being isolated was like cynicism, not knowing what's happening tomorrow. All those things are being, people are saying who we are. We have no way out. So imagine we're on the fight or flight constantly. So what I have been teaching, it's going back the same way I've always been teaching, is how to spiritually, how to build it, how to build your core, how to know, to be in the moment. What we see, like I'm in this place, I'm with you in the moment. It's always to be the best, to whatever I have, whatever strength comes up, and to give it to you and to talk to you. And regardless of where we are. And we could be in a cell. Imagine some people are in Australia. They live in a 20-story building. They have not been able to get out for 4 months. So it's how it is that regardless of where you are, like one of my mentors said, you're never alone. You're ever with yourself, your God and yourself. And the Spirit of God, the Spirit of my ancestors are there with me. It's that knowledge that people need to know. While they're there, whether we're talking together, whether I'm looking at this cup of water here, whether I'm wherever I am, is knowing there is the universe, we are the tip of the universe. And it doesn't matter what happened around. Until we know that, nothing matters. That's why we get sick. Being in the moment, being in the present. And then if it's a negative present, switch it around. Bring prayers, music, anything that's going to put you in that positive energy. Positive energy. What about those people who are stuck with people they don't like? Oh, we have a husband. I didn't know. Oh, I was married to this man. Maybe it's the time for us to try to learn about others, each other's. Because it's never about the other person, it's about you. So how do we go? How do we change? There's going to be there could be two things. We either choose, regardless of what's going to happen, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. In the moment today, we make that decision. This is what I'm going to do with my life. And this person in front of me, I'm going to love this person regardless of the color or where they come from. I am going to be that. We have a chance. To me, I see it as a positive way. Remind me, I have lived in 4 different countries. Imagine I'm at the airport. Oh no, I was in Germany. I didn't speak German. And the signs, I didn't understand. But I've lived in many different countries. I speak about 4 languages. And then I'm in a total different space, total different cultures, the way people speak, the way what people eat. And I see this, oh my God, a new adventure. And if we see it that way, if we see that wherever we are, at every step, it's like I say, we're the top of the world, we are there. How do we start? If we take that attitude, that's the attitude I've always taken, and that's the attitude I am taking now. People would say, call me, how are you with the virus? I said, oh, I'm fine. How are you fine? And I said, don't you listen to the news? I said, no, I don't listen to the news. I know that I have to wear a mask. That's one thing I have to know. So whenever I have to wear a mask and I go out, I only go if I need essential things for now. And then I'm waiting. And in the meantime, I'm writing, I'm talking to my friends, I'm still the comedian, I make them laugh. And 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 also something we need to remember, time doesn't exist. It's in our mind. It's in our mind. If we think, imagine when you went to college and you say, you see yourself starting and finishing, is it a blink, right? When I went to medical school, okay, I went to medical school and I graduated, a blink. So when you think about it, or all my life in a blank. So time is in the blank. Time is a blank. So those are all the tools that I have. For me, I'm looking at my windows. I have beautiful palm trees. I have macadamia nut trees, and then it's just like, oh, it's macadamia nuts, and I have behind that there's a huge pine, and then I just be in the moment in what I'm seeing. And is there a virus somewhere? Unless somebody called me and said there's a virus, you don't have to, when you're in the moment thinking there is a virus somewhere. I am here, I'm with you. I'm thirsty, I'm getting some water.
So let me mirror back to you the tools. And of course, the first being stay present.
Yes.
Stay present. If you're with people, work in love.
Yes.
Notice how you can love yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And then loving the people around you second.
Patience.
With
some people can push a button.
Yeah.
Yes, because there are some people you never close together with them, and then you realize, oh, you're going looking at them with different eyes, and you learn patience.
Yes.
Yes.
Remaining creative each moment, saying, what can I create right now? What can I notice right now? How can I feel a little more connected to God?
Yes.
And
because
then
we're always connected. We just have to open, and then it comes. And I say to God, and I call it this spirit of my ancestors. You know, I'm an African woman. The spirit of my ancestors, they're there all the time.
exactly.
Yes.
And so we can really be open, and we just have to ask, I want to be open. I choose that. So
Yes.
so really it's showing people, here's this adventure. It's a new adventure of choice.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
causing us to need to choose to be in the moment, and then that grief process of how things used to be is going to
Mm-hmm.
show up naturally as someone is
Yes.
grieving either a loss of the way that things were or the loss of a person. What advice do you have around someone who's noticing their grief at the moment, or that they're in
Okay.
the process of grief?
Let's go and talk about the process of grief in the first place. Grief is when you have a loss. And then there was many stages that you go to: anger, eventually acceptance. I'm not into science when I'm talking to people in the soul. And then it's just like there are many ways that whether accept it or not accept it, we move on, or you don't, and I move on. Or you might say, I lost my job. It could be a loss of anything, your job, uh, social status, money. It's a loss. So it's always the same thing I say. You fall, you get back on your feet. So to understand what is happening when you're grieving and you don't know. Let's say, let's use the book I'm writing about the loss of a loved one. What we used to do when you lose somebody, let's say naturally the way it happens, somebody's sick, you go to the hospital, or you go, depending on the country you're living, or it could be here too, hospice care at home, and the person passed away and everything. And then so there is a certain things, or you knew the person was going to die, and But even before that, people will die unexpectedly, murdered, a heart attack, a pulmonary embolus. So there's what we call a sudden death. So you are totally unexpected. And let's say if you feel guilty about something you didn't do, my mother has been calling me, come and spend some time with me. And then I didn't take the time to go and see her. Now she's sick and I cannot even travel. Or my father called me, son, I need you, but I'm busy. But then the father commits suicide. So I have seen the person came to a birthday party and then for some reason died or something. So people have different kind of guilt associated with that death. Is going to make the grieving process even longer. And so, and then I've seen people where they were in the hospital with the loved ones, they went to get the soda, the person died. And then they say, oh my God, I should have been there. So let's put all this kind of grief, but what is that grief is doing to you? If you feel you have some kind of guilt, essentially there is an unconscious feeling of punishment. Like I caused the person death. Look, I could have, that gentleman who 21 years, I saw him with arthritis, anxiety, and his heart is failing. He's a very young man. And I asked him what happened. His father called him and said, son, I need you, but he was busy. And then he didn't go. And then that's what happened. Or somebody with severe rheumatoid arthritis, joint pains, and going to doctors, getting all these medications. And she bought a car for her son. And the son died in that car that night. So these two people, that's the other cases that I see a lot. They felt guilty and responsible for the person's death. So then they start unconsciously wanting to punish themselves. Unconsciously wanting to punish themselves. And that's why it's coming out in the joints or in the heart. So when they go to the doctors, they say everything is fine, or there'll be tests, they'll see, because the body's eating itself, so you're going to see positive rheumatoid factor, the SED rate, and all those other things that are positive and they give the medications, and you see, oh, take this medication, nothing works, when it was that guilt. So those are the extreme, and those are the cases that came to me that I've been doing for the past, for 10 years. And then now I'm teaching my doctors that I'm a physician burnout prevention coach and my residents to recognize that. When the patient comes and there is nothing you can see? The tests are showing you give medication, they're not responding. And could it be grieving? And this is the extreme case. But now, let's say now what is happening now to everybody. You used to go to the hospital. You used to go to when the body is sick, but now, I remember my sister doing this, I had to take my sister to the hospital. I had to leave her. So we're leaving loved ones in the hospital. They don't let you in. And we don't know. So I have a lot of people who are very getting sick because what are they doing to my mother? Sometimes the person doesn't even speak a language. So imagine all those reasons where people are being separated with you, being in the hospital and being sick, you're not there, and see the person dies. So that's another blow. Now, many cultures, when you have family member that dies, people come, they call it, like in my culture, a novena. For 9 days, 9 nights, people come and pray with you. 9 nights, there is no such thing. People are on their own. So you're losing that. You're losing the novena. Simple thing, you're losing having to go to the funeral. I have a friend of mine, the person dies, but you were in another state. You cannot travel to another country. So I have a friend of mine, and then she was, we grew up together, and then she's telling me, her aunt, she said, would you believe my aunt saved money, she has her clothes, how she was going to be buried, and she died, not of the virus, but we have people dying of other deaths. Do you know, and she started crying, do you know they buried her with the hospital? No, they not buried her, they cremated her, because now they cremate and other things. People are being cremated because they don't have to pay the place to bury when they don't believe in cremation. So those are all the grief the people are dealing with. And then this is a side that's a losing loss of a loved one, but losing what we need to do to mourn. We're losing the mourning process. So this is what we talk about. So it doesn't matter what you've lost, whether your job or a child or a loved one or whatever the loss is the same thing. Is knowing first, you're not responsible for anybody's death. Like my father say, you die when you're supposed to die. You say, l'heure c'est l'heure, avant l'heure n'est pas l'heure, après l'heure n'est plus l'heure. We die when we're supposed to. And nobody is powerful enough to cause somebody to die. Because you hear about there was an accident and then everybody dies except one person and say, how did the person survive? It wasn't their time. What I also, as it's called spontaneous medium. A spontaneous medium is, for example, when a patient comes to me and they are suffering like the severe rheumatoid arthritis, the heart, whatever, at the time when I was dealing with patients, and then they come to me, they cannot find what's wrong with me, then I will channel the loved one. So I would channel that 18-year-old for that patient so she could say goodbye to her son. And then usually, and that's one of the things, this is very important, from channeling hundreds of people, is that the person always go when it's their time. When it's their time. What keeps them is the energy between those left behind, so they cannot go. If I was doing, when this started happening to me, I remember in 2011, and then the loved one are coming and giving you messages, and the patient would be shocked when I used to go to a clinic. I still go occasionally to clinics. And then I'm going there to a doctor because I'm having a problem with my stomach. And then she's telling me, oh, it's your dad. The dad died and you didn't have time to go to the funeral. And then so I had to explain to them, the things that I had to explain to them is that when the person dies and you're still grieving and you feel guilty, the person cannot go. So in the movie, for them to understand what I'm saying, I said, have you seen the movie Ghost? And most people do 2, 3, or 4 times. And I said, then I am Oda Mae Brown. I am Whoopi Goldberg. I am Oda Mae Brown. And when the people you see are coming and using their body to talk, this is what I do. And then guess what? They're never afraid. And I have a mentor when this was starting, and I said, how is it that I'm a doctor, I'm in a clinic, and then I said to the patient, your father is here and is telling me this, and the person doesn't go, ah! And they say, no, they feel the loved one's presence. It's not shocking to me, but it was like, at that time I would say, if I go to a doctor and they say, your grandmother is here, I would say, oh my God, this doctor is a quack. I'm out of here. But I'm realizing it's just like, we are all spirit and realize that. And we wish we would be connected to our ancestors, especially the ones that we haven't finished business with, that's causing us to grieve and causing us to be sick. So when that person comes, and the message always, love, they need to go to the light, that the person had nothing to do with their time, with their death. It was their time. And they were always happy that I was the vector for them to have a voice. That they were so happy that the person was going to heal. Like a 35-year-old white female, she came to me, she couldn't sleep. And for years, and I said, would you like to know why you can't sleep? And she said, yes, I would like to. And then I held her hands and looked into her eyes. My sister said I hypnotized them. And then a friend of my psychologist said, you open their subconscious, or any patient. And I said, why? And she looked at me and she started crying. When she was 5 years old, a grandfather came to visit. And her grandfather passed away in his sleep. When they woke up in the morning, he was dead. So she has always been afraid of sleeping. Just that. So by the time I'm able to, to, and I told her that, the grandfather came and said she was so happy to say goodbye. She said, Grandpa and Grandpa, they say when they hold me, they feel like their loved one. And then she came back and at the clinic, because I don't do medium. You don't come and call me and say you want to, no, I don't do that because I don't know when they're coming. I don't summon them, and I'm on strike anyway. I always say I'm on strike. They come too much when I was seeing patients. So, and then I said no. And then they understand. That's when they understand. She didn't know she was 5. But those who are adults to understand, especially now with the virus, a lot of people say, I wasn't there. No, they need to go to the light. They need to go. By you mourning and you self-punishing and having autoimmune disease, lupus, arthritis, all these diseases, skin, oh my God, rashes, that's all the pain that is coming out in the body. So when they realize that, and then realize as well, so people are listening to this, the people are fine. It was their time. I heard there was a 107-year-old woman who had the virus and left the hospital smiling. 107, But we all, so we already in a time where there is so much we're grieving for. So if you've lost a loved one, no, don't feel any guilty because it's their time. They want to go. They want to be free. They want to go to the light. But what's keeping them in limbo, because I feel there is the light, there is the limbo, and there is earth. What is keeping them in the limbo is all the grief. And usually when they come and connect with me to connect to a patient that is being sick, we're talking really sick, they're very happy. They're very happy. And then because we need to understand, with spirits, there is no time. I realize there is no up, there is no down, there is no there is nothing. It's just like energy. So it doesn't matter how long they were dead, they're still there in limbo. So that's why I'm writing the book, talking about this, because the person needs to be free and the loved one needs to be free as well.
Yeah. So to recap, the energy of grief is really like a big chain, and it really weighs everybody down. It weighs you down. It weighs the soul of your loved ones down, so they can't go to the light.
Mm-hmm.
And then it manifests in the body as illness.
Oh, in the mind. First, you can sleep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in the mind.
Oh yeah. Oh, in the mind. Oh, yeah. Guilt, torment. Oh yeah, in the mind.
Yeah.
Yes. Then in the body. Oh, and also, the worst is your faith. Is the spiritual guilt. Is the spiritual consequences. When things don't go well, this is the time you connect with your faith. That lady who lost her son, she didn't pray anymore. She was angry. Why did God take my son? So they become angry, and it's the time. And then the grieving process comes when I make them understand what is going on. For the soul of the son, that would have never wanting them to be so sad, and then for their own health and for the soul of the son. And also, and how there was a particular patient, she came hemorrhaging to death. They were giving her blood, and then she had diabetes that are totally out of control. And then so when she came and she was bleeding, and I asked her, why you think you're bleeding? I always ask her, why are you bleeding? They've done everything, nothing is wrong. They said, go and see her, she'll tell you. And I said, you know what? And she said, I don't know. I said, you know. She said, I lost my son. So when she said that, she stood up and she said, I missed my son. And I had to hug her. And that's the first time I realized I was channeling her son. Later on, retrospectively, I said, I want my son to tell me he loves me. So I said, I love you, Mom. I'm kissing her, and the tears are coming out. And then she's saying, Doctor, I'm so sorry because you're crying. I am tall, and they always come right here, and I'm going like this. and then I'm holding her. I love you, mommy. I love you, mommy. I didn't know then. It was years ago. I was channeling a son, and then she would go, and you feel all the things coming out. But how she didn't want to pray. Then I realized. I told her she's Catholic. She's Catholic and she believes in Jesus, the Son of God. And I said, do you believe? That's what your faith. This is what helps. That's what we need now, the faith. I said to her, your son, do you believe is in heaven? Oh yeah, he was 21, he was a comedian. He has to be in heaven. Do you believe that is there between Jesus and God? Yes, I do. I say, you do, then you're a sinner. I said, do you believe you're mourning your loss of your son? You have a daughter. And she smiled. And I said, you have a daughter and you're going to lose your husband. So you need to. And then your son is not happy. The soul is not happy. And then so he said, but what am I going to do? It is so hard. I feel it. That's why she was hemorrhaging to death. I had a needle in the clinic. I pulled in the examining table. We have some, that thing you put on the table, put it on the floor. And I had a needle in front of me. I put a stack of gowns, put more paper, because we need to use those things. And I said, coming in front of me, you're going to pray. You believe in Jesus. Jesus, sweet Jesus, the Lord of the strong, help me. I'm weak. I held her. She repeated it. And she goes, and I said, that's what you need to do. Your diabetes is out of control. You're bleeding to death. They cannot find anything because unconsciously you want to die and find your son, and your son doesn't want to. And you have a husband who's tired of you, and you have a daughter. You have to have a reason to live. So that's why, whatever is happening in life, find a reason to live. You're going to live. And I said, when you go home, before you say, I can't sleep, doctor. Before you go to sleep, get on your knees. Jesus, sweet Jesus, the Lord of the storm, help me, I'm weak. Whomever, Adonai, leave Elohim, God is with me, I shall not fear. Allah, help me, help me, help me. See that we connect with your faith. Help me, help me. Asking you shall receive. And then you sleep. And with time you sleep. And when I saw her a month later, diabetes out, she was on insulin, teeth were rattling. They didn't know what to do with her. She was dying unconsciously. I usually see those patients at the clinic when they come back with the light. I don't recognize them. And they say, my angel, they hug me. And I said, and I went to the church, oh my God, the light is back. And then so essentially, it's when things are tough, remember we always, with me, myself, and my God. That's what I say. We always, my ancestors, my African ancestors, my grandmothers, the spirit of my ancestors are always there with me. So that's why I'm so happy. Because regardless, doesn't matter what could happen to me right now. I know I'm always where am I supposed to be. We need to believe that we are where we're supposed to be. Always, there's the lesson, divine appointment, divine that we met. You chose to call me, and then now we're having this for people to hear. We always were supposed to be. We decide, we have the choice to decide whether we live or not. And it's not about, oh, we'd have to put a mask or this and that. There always changes. There will always be changes, always. We decide, how do we go forward? Do we die because, oh my God, I'm tired? And that's the way we die. That's the way we get sick and die, miserably. I want to die in my sleep. Because I'm just the body. Okay, now it's time to go. I've done so much. Because I plan to live many years. I say at least 20. In my family, we have long years. Because we are spirit. Doesn't matter. And it's just like, so we don't need to grieve the past. We don't need, because there is always something we have to grieve on. Whether it's a loved one, whether it's a job, whether it's a husband, somebody who lives us for something, or we have a child who's doing something that we thought they should have done. No expectations.
So it's the pure love that really frees people.
Yes. Yes. No expectations. I don't have any expectation of nothing.
Except that there's going to always be changes.
And I'm just like, what did you? I was in an interview. What are you sure in life? I say death. Everything we're sure of. We're going to die. There is nothing we're sure. Cannot be sure of anything. We're not sure where we're going to die, how we're going to die. Are we going to be blown up in a fire? Are we going to be in a car crash? We don't know that. We just know we're going to die. That's it. That's the only certain thing, certainty that we have in life. Death. And then I have so much to do, because when you have so much to do, that's what I realize. That's what I like to do those interviews, because somebody can see that I'm full of life. I'm going to be 70 years old. I'm a septuagenarian, and it's just like, I'm full of life. I feel like I'm 26. It's because I see so much to be done and so much to teach. See, that's my reason. That is. I call it my purpose, because my reason to live is my family. So, my purpose. I have so much to teach, so much. So I spend my time whenever I can put the word out, and people will see it and go, "What am I worried about?" Nothing, because everything is fleeting. They don't even exist. It's in our head.
So finding what you love, there's a lot of folks that you and I know, they don't have families and not very many friends, but there's so much to love. Just to find
garden.
Yep. Finding that one thing
that brings you joy.
Yeah, that brings you joy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the more spiritual we are, the more joy we have in everything.
Yeah.
Like me, just like, the sky is blue. We have beautiful blue sky in San Diego. Oh, that's what I fell in love with it. And then, it's going to rain. My water bill is going to go low. It's going to go down. So I am a pathologic optimistic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I have a friend, Dr. Carolle, who's an atheist, and very staunchly so, and recently said that he didn't feel that he has a purpose. And he was lamenting about this existential crisis that he's going through, that he doesn't feel he has a purpose, and that he doesn't have very much family or friends to really lean on, and he's realizing, his son's going to leave, because his son's going to graduate and leave home, and then he's really not going to have any family to take care of or to be with him. And so he's very afraid, and I can see this sort of turning into illness if it's in his mind first that he has no purpose. But here he also doesn't have any concept of God that he can lean on, or prayer. And if I was to for me, I was just going to be with him and listen to him. He needed somebody to listen to him first. And I think for those of us in a position where we can serve people, to listen first, to notice that. But with someone who really doesn't have any faith to connect to something bigger than themselves, what is your advice for that sort of tough situation? Someone so cynical and isolated as this person.
For one thing, we cannot change people. It takes a lot of energy, and that's why I stopped working with people. But there is always something. For your friend, for example, who's also going to suffer from, they call it emptiness. Go and help somewhere. Your gift that you have of parenting, eventually things will open up. And then go and serve in a soup kitchen. Go and package food for those who don't have. So it's good to have the faith in something, but you might have the faith in something you do. Because when he was raising family to have a better life for those families. So what about seeing every young man being a role model for a Black kid? You know what I mean? I might do something, there is all these prejudice, all those things going on. I might go and see, we all white folks, we're not bad. If you're Black and I can help you, we can make better racial, make the whatever in the races be better. You could do anything. It doesn't have to be having faith. If you don't have faith, you don't. But then you can exchange in this body, you can use what you already know, like being a father, being a parent, replace it with that. That alone will give him a purpose.
I love that. That the acts of selfless service can be what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
How special is that? I mean, because
But
all the
no,
gifts.
I have to say something. Selfless service have very healthy boundaries.
Yes.
Oh, I have to make it clear. I have a certain amount of energy, and I choose where I want to put that energy. I choose to be, I have so many things to do. I choose to be with you today because I know this energy of the time we spend is going to be forever. It's going to be there, and there people are going to listen to it and get something. So I'm taking something, I'm putting a seed talking to you. So I could talk as long as I can with my doctors, with my medical students, my residents, because you know why? Why? They're going to make a difference in the life of hundreds of patients. So I do selfless service for a doctor, but I'm not going to listen to somebody who has all these their problems. I did that for a long time, and they take away my energy that I don't have.
Yeah.
Of patients.
So that's very smart then, thinking about the acts of service that you're doing, being very careful at the same time with how
Yes.
much energy you're using, and trying to
Yeah.
plant seeds that will grow long after you.
I call it my legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine I take, that's the, imagine we just finished the year of residency, and two of my residents that I mentor, I'm their intuitive healing mentor. And then we talk, and then and I said to each one of them, how is life now? They say, wonderful. I cry. You know what I cry? In this day and age, you're graduating from your residency, and then you're going to life as a doctor in this, and then but I work with them to solidify their spirit, then their mind, then their body, then their mind, and teach them the tools I know, how to recognize, how to help your patients. Now they have the tools, so it doesn't matter where they are. They're there, and I told them the most important thing is being you and your patients in front of you. The world doesn't exist. Like I am talking to you, and do the best for that patient. That's what I taught them. And then when they have all those things, one day I remember one of them, I said to him, no, he looked at me and I said, would you like me to have a lobotomy, take a little piece of my brain and put it in your brain? He wanted to be a medium too. He said, I would like to heal them. How do you know? Oh, I said, maybe another time. At the time, I thought you couldn't teach somebody to channel the loved ones, but it can, because if you're open to do the best for this patient in front of you, the spirit will come. It's just like how to be, you want it so badly, you realize now with your intuition that that person who has rheumatoid arthritis, that nothing works, all this medication, and she's getting worse and worse. And it's because now, you know, it's because she lost a son. And you really want it, the son will come for you to say something to the mother. Period.
Yeah, period. I love too that that it really opens up why people get sick.
Of
I mean,
course.
it really does. It makes it all make so much more sense. And you know, we're always taught, oh, you caught something, or oh, you
Or you
have
don't eat the right food. You don't eat the right, that's the other thing. You don't eat the right food.
yeah.
You could eat, I live in California, and for years I was the intuitive person. You come. I have a woman, she had a mattress, a organic mattress that cost $5,000. But when I looked at her, she came out of a healing garden. She came and I said, I don't want you to come into my house. You are the most evil person I ever had. I could feel your evil energy. And usually I have them fill out, there was something, I do a 3-step process where they write down everything. And we go back and forth via email until we find out what's wrong with them. And they understand themselves because I understand. And I said to her, you know what? I think it was the little devil in you that was filling out this form. Why don't you stay in the garden? This is my office. When you finish, shut that little devil and start paying you. You pay me, she paid me like $1,500 to spend that day with me. You need to get that little devil out, and you really go and write again. It was before I would test them and say, no, I'm not going to work with you at the time. So that particular woman, I remember her because I looked at her. She looks pretty and everything. She has money and everything. But I say, you're a devil. You're the pure devil. And she knows that. They don't say anything because they know they're a devil. I am a devil. Because when I look at your soul, I see the devil is just like the negative energy you've been carrying, and I have to deal with it. So if you want to come with me, I already have the time with you. You better get that little devil and be you, the you who wants to be healed.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then she's been doing everything, but what she was doing with the children, it was evil. But they don't know, because whatever she's, oh, just this, you need this medication, you need this, you need that, blah, 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 blah. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. It's true. I mean, being a mirror as you are. You're showing people the truth.
Yes, I'm a mirror. I'm the mirror. And my father, I remember about how many years ago, about 15 years ago, I'm healing people. I can see what's wrong with you. I can pray with you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling my dad, my dad, he didn't have an education and did a lot of sacrifices for me to be who I am. And I went to visit him in Florida, and I said, Dad, this is what I'm doing and what I'm doing. My father shook his head and looked at me in awe. He said, you're not doing anything. You're not healing anybody. And I said, I don't. He said, no, you're a mirror. You're a divine mirror. You know the spirit world, you know the mind, you know the body. You just show the mirror. You show the person who they are. You make them understand. And then they make the choice if they want to heal. You give them an opportunity to heal themselves. So that's why I started to grow, because now I realize, if you asking me, what am I going to eat and everything, I said, no. Pretty soon I start rejecting, no, I'm not going to work with you. I'm not going to work with you. Because it takes too much work. The people are working now, it's just the people who said, okay, been there, done that, ate everything, blah, blah, blah. Oh, not even, I don't work with people anymore. I decided last year, no more. I work with doctors who have a lot of knowledge. Now they went into courses at UCSD. They have an integrative course. They know it, but they want somebody who knows it like this, who can show it to them. And they say, teach me. And then when they're in front of me, they start crying. I say, first, we're going to solidify you, like my last two residents, and we show them how to understand how. And one of them, I remember, they will cry, you teach me everything I've learned in medicine for the right way in an hour. Because they already know it. So I like people, that's what I say, I don't waste my energy. I like people who know I'm the mirror. Mirror, 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 mirror. This is what's happening to you. This is what's happening. And they go, I can see, oh my God. And it's just like, there's the movie. Oh, and you see sometimes they feel so guilty. Oh my God, I remember so-and-so, she was overweight. And then because I'm teaching them, somebody's overweight, it's not because she eats too much. She could be that she's depressed, they're giving her SSRI, or she was raped and then she's using the weight as a shield. You're biased. And it's just like, oh, it's just like, it's wonderful. I don't want to be biased. I want to be the best for my patient. So I work with the doctors who they don't want to burn out, and then they say, oh my God, you are that mirror I want to put things in perspective for me. So you see, so after we talk, after we do the work we do a week, and then occasionally on the phone, and pretty soon they stop calling me. And then my sister said, I said, oh, so-and-so is not calling. My sister said, I thought you say you're not a guru. You teach them everything. So when you're there, you're going to hear in their head, when they're not doing the right thing for the patient, they're going to hear, cut that shit. The answer will come. And then I am in their head. I am in their head. I implanted myself in their head. So whatever happened, they see it. That's what. So it's just like, I don't work with people who just little devil coming to me and nah. I want to work. My legacy is to work with doctors, and that's why I never have a chance. So I'm putting courses. I'm doing things together. So I'm starting a podcast. It's called CME for the Soul, and I'm having let's see. I'm going to be doing a LinkedIn group for doctors. Let's see. Wait. Let me see what my
Oh,
wait.
good. How awesome.
And then let's see. I'm going to show you the This it's going to be called physician maintaining resilience for the joy of medicine.
Oh, how
A
awesome.
LinkedIn group, because there we're going to talk about what is not working. Because for physicians, for example, it doesn't matter. The physicians are losing their autonomy. That's the grief. And especially now, even though they've learned so much, now it's a new way of dealing with patients. Telemedicine. So they are grieving as well.
Yeah, they are.
They're
Yeah.
grieving as well. So it's just like, how do you deal with the new change? Change is happening everywhere. And so I want the healers to be
Yeah, right.
and then yes, and then so now the understanding, and then I see you see how simple you see. Oh, when you see somebody, the person is ill, you're going to say, "Oh, what's happening?" You know, the root cause. So it's in that group, in that on my LinkedIn group, Physicians Maintaining Resilience for the Joy of Medicine, where we can talk about medical record. You can talk about, I have doctors. They say I cannot prescribe a particular medication for a patient, or I cannot do a CAT scan. And then so that's why they're losing. I need this for my patient. And then the HMO, blah blah blah, the formulary. And I say, oh, I have doctors who are burning out, not because of that. They practice medicine. There are no CAT scan and there is no pharmacy.
Oh my goodness, right? Wow.
So it's when you are with the patient, what you have.
Yeah.
Be the mirror.
Your intuition.
Your intuition, what you can use. Sometimes I pray with them, touch them, and then make them. That's what my father said. You make them heal themselves. I take a patient. I still go to. I'm not going to Haiti now because of we cannot travel. Even my clinics that I go and do volunteer work, they're closed. But what we do is showing the patient you can heal yourself.
Yeah.
So
we can heal our grief. We can heal ourselves. We can
our body, our minds, our soul. We can. Yes, we can.
And by being in a position where you can be willing to, if it's your path to be a mirror, you can show other people they can heal.
Yes.
Every day.
And that was always, because I've been doing it for so long, so I've become sort of the leader, because when I'm around, we say, what do we do? And I say, all right, all that shit, there has to be a pony in there. Time for the pony. We said, all that shit in the room. So that's it. We look for the right one. There is always one.
There is always one.
There is always one. Otherwise, we're dead.
Yeah.
That's when we die, when there is none left.
When there's none left and it's our time.
Yes.
Never before.
Never before.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
Beautiful, yes.
I love how simple it is, and you've illustrated it so beautifully with your stories, with your passion, and your beautiful youthful soul. And I think that people really need this right now. Thank you for giving a healing balm with your beautiful heart today, Dr. Carolle.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
Anytime, okay.
You get to play anytime you want. I'm always here for you.
Thank you. I know that. So see what comes up next.
Yeah. And we'll just keep talking.
Keep talking.
And everyone will get to hopefully get onto your website. So can they find your podcast on there? Or are you starting it?
Yes, I have we put in drcarolle.com. It's called CME for the Soul. I know it's on Anchor. So I'm working on, I've done the two of them, but I'm doing some writing. So pretty soon I need to do more I was doing it with somebody else, but now I'm going to on my own, just talk to, just audio, just say, if you have a patient overweight, how do you deal with it? If you have this, if you have that, 4 or 5 minutes short, I call it CME for the soul. And the LinkedIn group, in the LinkedIn group, so it's a conversation where physicians will come and say, I am having this, so how do I deal with it?
Yeah.
Because like I said, each of us are different. You could feel, oh, I'm in HMO, I cannot do this for my patient, I cannot do that for my patient. But it could be somebody has everything, but it's something else that's causing them to be disturbed. So doesn't matter what is the barrier, how to be strong, and you overcome that barrier. That's simple.
I have this beautiful vision suddenly of a dandelion puff, and you're blowing it. You're making this wish for healing, for humanity, and all the little seeds.
Yes. That's why I said, oh, I have my website and my books, but there will be the voice, there'll be seeing, because 100 years later, and this is the word blow up, this wisdom is universal, it will always be there.
It always was, it always will be.
Well, and that's why when I do this, it's just like, that's what I want to concentrate my energy, because it's boom.
Thank you. This is precious. And we'll make sure people get those links under the video, and we'll update them as they get, as things come out, we'll update the links and keep getting all this out to people.
Yes, and I put it on I put all the interview I'm doing now to put them on my website. I let them go out in my LinkedIn.
Awesome. Oh,
page
good.
And whatever.
Yes, excellent. So good. We'll keep playing, and people get to be able to be in your presence, be uplifted, find something that they love, and that's that beautiful moment. Each moment is a choice.
We have the choice. It's like you come to a crossroad, you go to the right. Here in my right is the ocean, left in the mountain. I don't like the ocean, I like mountains. You choose. We always have choices.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for choosing to be with me today for this hour. It's
my pleasure. My pleasure.
And namaste to you all who will listen to this. We love you so much. And thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you'll be able to really find that connection in yourself so that you can heal, because it's true. You can. Good. Bless you.